A girl named Eileen finds herself in a spacious, locked room. A voice breaks out and gives the heroine her first task, to pick up a pencil. The program emphasizes that after failing the task, the heroine's daughter will die. The test is given easily, but a moment later, the girl's consciousness shuts down. Eileen wakes up chained to a chair. The voice repeats the task and the girl tries to get out, for she is worried about little Eve. Eileen tries with all her might to free herself and manages to take off her sneakers and drop her shoes to move the handle. After each task, the girl's consciousness is transferred to the beach, where she and her daughter sing and build sandcastles. Having regained consciousness, the protagonist tries to look around and find a way out. Unsuccessful attempts lead the girl to her original place. On the table is a bowl of strange, purple porridge. Eileen eats all the food to look at her reflection. The program starts up again and repeats the old task. The girl is angry and tries to negotiate a conversation with her young daughter. The family doesn't talk much, which greatly disturbs Eileen. Now, she is willing to go all the way, just for the sake of her daughter, who is being held captive. The girl agrees to a second mission, but notices that a glass door is blocking the passage. Eileen tries to rip off a chair to break the wall, but it ends up pinned to the floor. Hope lost, the girl tries unsuccessfully to move the doors while time is almost running out. Through the power of thought, Eileen manages to move the pencil, which gives rise to her mental powers. The bloodied heroine loses consciousness again, and is transported to the beach. She and her daughter, once again, build a sand castle. Returning to consciousness, Eileen notices a man lying there trying to talk. It turns out that it is Roger, the husband of the protagonist. He tries to calm the girl down and understand what happened. The answering machine voice comes back, but with a new task, to break a pencil. Roger tries to complete it, but the missions are accepted only by the main test subject. Eileen is chained to a chair and cannot move. She gets the idea, to complete the mission with the power of thought. The plan works, and the pencil breaks. The girl's consciousness shuts off again. She sees Roger playing with his little daughter, after which Eileen returns to the test room. The man walks around the room and tries to find a way out. He puts forward the theory that the girl has been brought here for experiments, for she is endowed with strange powers. Eileen drinks some water and then falls fast asleep. She dreams again about the beach and her little daughter. The family plays for a while, after which Eve abruptly disappears from the dream and Eileen wakes up. The girl is very disturbed, and does not understand what happened. Her head hurts badly, and Roger notices subcutaneous injections. The answering machine's voice returns, along with a new assignment, to hit a ball into a sand bucket. Eileen decides to unscrew all the screws with which the legs of the table are screwed to complete the task. The man nudges the unscrewed table, and Eileen drops the ball. She begins to recall events from the past. It turns out that the beach, which she constantly observes out of consciousness, is Eve's favorite place, where they used to go for birthday parties all the time. We watch a fast-paced event where Eileen is trained in psychic abilities. After all the tests, the girl collects a gun, but Roger is surprised by it. All the training had to do with the beach, then why learn how to use a gun? The man helps to properly equip the gun, but the main mission becomes to shoot it. The bullet flies through the consciousness barrier, but Eileen interrupts the blast. Roger remains alive and the bullet is crumpled into a small ball. The mission is accomplished. The girl loses consciousness again, and is transported to the beach. The joyful daughter builds a little sand city, and asks her parents for help. Eileen returns to the room, where Roger is waiting for her. They eat porridge, and try to think of a beautiful future, after the ordeal. The girl asks for the story of how they met, where she reminisces a little about past events. The guy played on a sports team, but after the appearance of his daughter, left the sport. After a little talk, the girl faints again. On the beach, Eileen finds her husband's wedding ring, and her daughter's belongings, hidden in the sand. The program starts up again. Roger is in the glass room. The girl tries to come to her senses, but remains on the other side of consciousness. The sand covers the isolated room, which practically kills the man. Roger tries to get Eileen to get him out as soon as possible, because after a few seconds, the whole family will be in danger. Unfortunately, the girl runs out of strength. She barely regains consciousness, but tries to kick the doors open with a chair. Time quickly runs out, but the room remains locked. Eileen gives up, and the room fills with sand, killing Roger. A failed trial means death for everyone in the family. Now Eileen is left all alone, for she has not completed her task. Her husband's death is a reprisal for little Eve. The girl disrupts the speaker of the program, and sees the events related to her daughter. At that moment, a SWAT team walks into the room, pointing guns. The cruelty of Eileen, who has lost her entire family, becomes limitless. With the power of her thoughts, and her hands, all the men, lying powerlessly across the room. Without touching them at all, Eileen makes them bleed. The girl walks out the open door, where she is trapped by a number of patrolmen, who open fire. But, all the bullets shatter against the invisible wall created by the girl's thinking. After that, she breaks every bone of the men with her mental powers. The last of them, she asks not to kill, for he has a young daughter. Perhaps this could have saved him earlier, but life has been tragic for Eileen, so the girl has no interest in other people's interests or families. She pokes her eye out to the patrolman, and with his help, she enters a closed elevator. Going down to the lower floors, Eileen finds a new test room, and enters it. The room is just as empty and inconspicuous. As she descends to another floor, she notices several doors labeled materials, supplies, and spares. Near them, a worried Roger sits, repeating the same sentence, "They're all like me." Upon entering the new room, the girl notices a body, closed in a sack. When she opens it, she sees another Roger. At this point, the girl is again attacked by the SWAT team. The girl's mental powers can create any action, which she skillfully takes advantage of, smashing all the patrolmen. She exits the elevator again, and finds herself in a dark room. Bright sunlight emanates from the ceiling, brightening the girl's face. It turns out that the events taking place were another test, which the girl coped with perfectly well. Eileen's psyche was severely damaged after the news of the death of her entire family, but the girl completed the task. The server is programmed to control the victim's memory and cannot be brought back to reality. It turns out that the girl will never see her family. After all, they are dead. The family was simulated, and controlled only in the heroine's dreams. The happy family once again return to the beach, where they play merrily with their daughter. The man refuses to help, and only reads a strange newspaper. It turns out that not everything in their family was as wonderful as we previously thought. They lived in a small apartment run by Roger's mother. Life was not sweet at all, because in addition to a difficult relationship with his mother-in-law, Roger often drank, and ignored the requests of the family. He lacked Eileen's love and care because she spent all her time with her daughter. It turns out that Roger justified his laziness, and his alcoholism, by raising little Eve. There were frequent arguments in the family, and that is what happened on her daughter's birthday. Eileen began to yell at the man, which greatly frightened Eve. After that, a strange thing happened. With the force of the scream, the girl killed her father, who fell on his little daughter with his body. The family died at the hands of the girl, even before the ordeal, so in reality they were not left. The project sends Eileen to rehab. She is promised a quick recovery and a simulation of all her memories. But, the girl refuses to believe what is happening, and requests a new trial attempt to relive all the family simulations.